Well, this video will probably get me put on a list. It will probably lose me my channel, and it will probably get me a lot of grief from many sides. It will also probably lose me some friends and gain me some extra ones, but here it is. So listen very carefully to what I say and don't preempt what I'm going to say. Don't assume anything I say. Do not straw man me on anything I'm saying now. So what you're saying is, no, let me be very, very clear. What I'm saying here is what I mean. I've been looking around lately at all of the white people getting bashed. I've been looking at them losing their rights. I've been looking at them whenever they stand up and speak for themselves, they get called a bigot or a racist or a homophobe or a xenophobe or whatever it is. I get people saying that there is no white culture. I get people saying that whites should stop complaining about becoming minority in their country. Now, I thought to myself, there's black activists, isn't there? And there's people from the Muslim faith or from different cultures and colours who are activists, and that's fine. Where's the white activists standing up for the rights of white people? I don't see any because they're all too cowardly. I don't see very many. There are probably a few out there, okay, whether I agree with what they actually want to turn out to be. So I'm going to call myself now a white activist. That's going to get me some problems. Now, I looked up what a white supremacist is, and I am very definitely not a white supremacist. I don't think white people are superior. Nope. I don't want white people to hold the superior card over anybody, because let's be honest, when it comes to mentally superior, we know that some of the people over towards China are far more intelligent, okay, when you look at the IQ of things, right? But let's not get into that part. What I'm noticing is just nobody standing up for us. And as we've now just become a minority in our capital city, and although a lot of people out there are thinking this is bad, most people aren't saying anything about it. And that to me strikes me as a problem, all right? If we were going and spreading out across all these other countries and becoming the dominant ones within their countries, there would be uproar everywhere. Now, it's not just England that this is happening at the moment. We can see this happening all over Europe. We can see people not standing up for white people, okay, all across the world. If you try and stand up for a white person, you're jumped on. You're called a bigot, a racist. I don't care. I really don't care. History will judge me, as it did other people like Enoch Powell and many others. But I want to make it very, very clear that I haven't got any problem with individuals from other races or religions, because I've got friends that I get on with well. I've dated a couple of people of colour. It wasn't about that. I just saw the nice person within them, all right? That was it. Well, I obviously quite fancied them, but that's something else. My position towards people of colour is this. If you're a good person, fine. Why would I have a problem with that? Okay. It's about what's in here and what's in here for me. But I do believe that if you look at, say, the black community, they have their own leaders. They have people who are looking after their better interests. And if somebody does something to a black person, rightfully somebody's going to pull up and go, hang on, that's not right. And people will listen, hopefully. So if any black people wanted to come and support what I'm doing, which is standing up for what's happening to white people at the moment, great. If any Chinese people or any Asian people, you want to join in, you want to help, fine, good. That would show good character on your behalf, the fact that you can see what's happening and you're not happy about it. Why do I have a problem with whites become a minority in my country? Why wouldn't I? The question is, why don't you have a problem with it? And that's something you've got to think about. So I've got a massive problem about that. I've got a massive problem about immigration. But primarily speaking, my problem is that nobody wants to stand up for white people anymore. Nobody had the balls to say, I'll fucking do it. Well, here it is. I am. I will. That is it. Now, the ADL, I wanted to know what their version of a white supremacist is, right? Here we go. A white supremacist uses the terms, or terms used and characterized various belief systems, central to which are one or more of the following key tenets. Now, this is where they will try and shut down anybody like me speaking, right? Whites should have dominance over people of other backgrounds. How do you mean dominance? Well, as in, we should have more rights and them have less rights? No, that's wrong. Completely wrong. We should all have the same rights. But we, as whites at the moment, have less rights. What else have we got here? Let's just go through it. Whites should have dominance, especially when they may coexist. Whites should live by themselves in white-only societies. Not if they don't want to. Now, it might upset you, but I live in a very white-only society at the moment, and I'm quite happy here, by the way. But if you were a person who was brought up in the city and you were used to people who were black or Asian or whatever, and you grew up that way, fine. And if that's the way you're happy to live, then fine. But what I'm seeing in places like London is the white people have been pushed out. Surely they had a right to live there, didn't they? Why did they get pushed out? And these are the questions we need to ask. 3, white people have their own culture. Who wrote this? And what kind of person says that there is no white culture? Are you insane? Are you not well? Or are you just being disingenuous? The white person in Great Britain, in England particularly speaking, has his own culture. The Welsh have their own culture. The Scottish have their own culture. And if you went back 100 years ago or more, they would be predominantly white. So what you're saying there is an out and out lie. But you knew that, didn't you? Let's have a look a bit further. White people are genetically superior to other people. Idiots. Genetically superior. Okay, who's the best in athletics? Mainly speaking, right? At running and stuff like that. Well, it isn't white people, all right? They're very good, but they're not the best. Okay? Are we more intelligent than some? Yes, but less intelligent than others. So that kind of this is rubbish. Right. As a full-fledged ideology, white supremacy is far more encompassing than simple racism or bigotry. Most white supremacists today further believe that the white race is in danger of extinction due to the rising flood of non-whites. It is, you fool. You can see the figures of what's happening. It will happen. It's an inevitability, and it's only a matter of time. The interesting thing is, in London, in Westminster, they actually decided, instead of calling the BAME community, they now called them the majority. Okay? Fancy that. And that probably doesn't sit very well with the people who wrote this, does it? But it is a fact. Now, as I say, if I see something bad happening to a Jewish person, or a African person, or a Muslim person, or a Christian person, or a Hindu, or whatever, I'm going to point it out, because bad is bad, all right? Common sense. But I'm really going to focus a lot more on the bad things that are happening to the white people around the world, because we are a minority. When everybody thought the blacks were a minority, it was all great to get on board and stick up for them, wasn't it? And rightly so, if you thought they were a minority. They were a minority over here, right? But the thing is, we're becoming a minority. So I'm going to stand up for us, because minorities need people to stand up for them. Now, as I say, this won't gain me any favours at all. I will be more on a watch list than I was before, but in for a penny, in for a pound is what I say. My grandfathers, not just one, fought for a white Britain as it was then. They didn't actively go out and thinking, I'm fighting for a white Britain, but that's the way it was. All right? Now, if they'd seen the way the country has gone now, that it's very degenerate, that the moral fibre of this country is falling, okay, and that things are going really downhill because my generation and my dad's generation let this happen, he'd be disgusted with me and my father and my mother probably. That's a harsh thing to say, but these boys fought and died to make this country free of tyranny. But what we've let is tyranny come in through the back door and make us second-class citizens in our own country. That's wrong. So, here it is. You now know my cards are on the table. I will be standing up as an activist for white people. But let me make it very, very clear. I hold out the hand of friendship to any other culture that wants to be my friend. Simple as that. And if anybody wants to try that out to see if I'm genuine or not, approach me. See if I'm what I'm about and actually talk to me. Because nobody wants to see injustice done to any people. We actually want to get along in this world and make life as easy as possible, but it doesn't seem that's going to be the case. What it seems to me is there is an active push to demonize white people. But why? What, for some perceived historical racist background we had? You pick a culture that was never racist and I'll pick you somebody who's lying about facts. Every culture going back before the woke brigade came on board was historically racist. They looked after their own and they were wary of others that didn't look the same. Now, I'm not racist, although many will call me a racist. I'm simply worried about this slide towards the demonization of people who have the same skin color as me. So, some might say, will you stand up for an American white over here? Yeah, of course I will. Because the people that are going after us don't care about our lineage, and nor do I, that much, right? What they care about is he's white, he must be a racist, he must be a bigot, he must be this, he must be that, right? And there are people that just hate us for the colour of our skin. I know. That doesn't sit well with a lot of people, does it? There's a lot of people over there who want to call me a racist, who are going, oh, nobody can hate white people for the colour of skin. There is no racism towards white. You can't be racist towards white. And for those people, I would say, get help. You really seriously need it. However, there it is. I've put my cards on the table. I will be going into more detail about this at some point. All right? I've not joined any groups. I've no interest in joining any groups. I haven't spoken to anybody else who's out there in the internet about my position. I am a loner, right? So I announced to the closest people around me that I was going to do this first so they could walk away if they want to. They've chosen to stay by me, all right? Now I'm saying to you, if you're a subscriber and you don't like this, that's fine. Unsubscribe, I understand. But this is the way I'm just going to stand up for the injustices that are going on against white people because nobody else is. That's all it is. That's all I'm doing. But I need to announce it to you so you know where you are. I put my cards on the table with everybody because I don't believe in lying to you a lot or being disingenuous. As I say, I won't be joining any other groups because I don't need to. I've always worked alone. But that's the way I feel. Right. I've gone on long enough. Over to you. We'll see if the figures go down. I expect them to, and I understand. All right? But I've got to be honest about where I stand and how I feel. Anyway, thanks for liking, sharing, and subscribing. If you agree with what I'm saying, share this. Maybe secretly, if that's the way you feel. You might be a bit embarrassed to be listening to somebody who's talking like this, but share it if you want. But I'll reiterate again for the stupid people, I do not hold any colours any ill will. I like them. But they have their own people standing up for them. I just don't see anybody standing up for us right now. All right? That's all it is. I can't be any more clear, and I can't spell it out in any more basic language than this. There you go. Right. Let's see what happens now.